All right. So that was our new Guardz playlist in honor of 50 years of hip hop. And we're going to keep on that theme now. So you got myself, Ray Vendetta, in here.
Yo.
And yeah, so the first thing we're going to talk about, Ray, shots but no shots, actually.
Shots but not shots, but
shots. We're one.
Yeah, we're one short. Unfortunately,
we're one guest short, but we're not. The less said about that, the better. But yeah, we're gonna get inside the topics today. So first of all, we're gonna talk about 50 years of hip hop, and we're gonna talk about your top hip hop moments. So we put the question out to the listeners.
Yeah, to the listeners,
and we've got a couple of responses. So like, we'll talk about the responses in a minute. But what are some of your top hip hop moments over the years?
I was just brainstorming, in all honesty, and then I had someone there that I thought was a bit unnecessary.
Go on.
Not really moments, but like, they were like standout points, but not moments. So I just went back to moments, and what was coming to mind was Old Dirty Bastard at the Grammys.
Oh shit! Yeah,
storming the stage. He wasn't even supposed to be there. He had a Chris suit on. He came on and he just said that Bad Boy is cool and all that puffy, but he said like Wu-Tang for the babies. I think did he perform something? Did he get to do a little something?
I don't think he was performing. They kicked him off. They kicked him out.
He just done what he had to do.
After that, I see like security coming to the stage.
On the run. He was
frantic.
a vigilante at that time. So
when he's supposed to be like on probation or something.
On probation, he was a vigilante that come to the Grammys suited up for the Wu-Tang. They didn't even know he was coming. You ask any of them now when they get interviewed, they was no, we didn't know Dirty was coming. Dirty just like it's unorthodox like that, innit? Yeah, like that was one of them. Then I had you know what? I know it ain't so big to some people, but 3-6 Mafia getting an Oscar, man, because that was like unheard of in hip hop before.
You know what? That's an underrated moment,
for the score of Hustle and Flow.
Yeah.
That'd never been done before.
Underrated moment. Yeah, because that was the first. That was the first.
They acknowledge hip hop in the Oscars, but for a score or a soundtrack. And it's like they don't get enough props for that. We're giving 3-6 Mafia their flowers right now.
And that's the thing. Everyone loves that movie as well. Like, I don't know many, even like the purest boom bap heads.
They like it.
Everyone loves that movie. That movie, like even people that don't even like hip hop, that movie.
Storyline behind
it. It's just a gritty story, isn't it? It's American Dream shit as well. Do you know what I mean?
It don't matter that it was hip hop. It could have been any.
It was just an American Dream story.
Yeah, man.
Do you know what I mean? That's a dope one actually. That's an underrated one. I wouldn't even have thought of that. I got some as well. So I think, just going off what we were just listening to, Cannabis versus LL Cool J.
I was gonna talk battles, but
that was one of my favorite battles, man. That was like one of the first.
I think that was the first one that we just like.
Because we were teenagers when that came out.
And we like both artists as well.
So it was just the first battle where I saw it was going back and forth, and it was really gritty and it was like personal. Do you know what I mean?
Very personal. Because Cannabis looked up to LL and said you was like one of my idols, and now you become my rival. And he was saying stuff. I ripped that mic off your arm. LL said you copy my tattoo on my arm.
And the fact that it started on LL's tune as well.
That same song you were playing, That's exactly where it started. They were talking about this, so I think it was just down to a tattoo.
Yeah, because it's about the mics on his arm.
The microphone on the arm thing. So he copied them.
That's. What do you think with that? Like though, do you think that LL's out?
I think there's an LL ego thing.
Yeah, because that's a younger. He's a younger that looking up to him.
I felt LL felt a bit
insecure.
Yeah,
he felt insecure, man. He heard him on the track and was like.
Yeah, he's a bit, and I don't want this boy just trying to take my shine off the
Yeah, that's a mad one. Another one I would say is when Snoop dropped Doggy Style.
Yes,
because I remember I
had a Snoop moment there still,
and that's the thing. Like we were talking. We were talking earlier about. I said earlier on when Gin and Juice dropped. Yeah, that when that came out, I remember exactly where I was, at how I felt when it came out.
Done $1 million in a week.
Yeah. Because I think that and Dr. Dre Chronic, the first Chronic, those were the first like hip hop records that like were embedded in my mind. Like
same with me. It's the West Coast album more so when people ask me. East Coast it was later for me to get onto that. But West Coast I heard first when I've been exposed to hip hop. It was West Coast.
Yeah, and like, obviously I was like my brothers listened to Ice Cube and all of them things there before, but like. I didn't really, because it was more political. Yeah. It didn't resonate with me as a.
You like that, when you're young.
What I'm saying, but then, and also I was a little bit older when Doggy Style dropped. So like still young, I was like under 10.
Appeal, man.
Exactly. So then, but then when like the Snoop thing, I think it was the artwork, the way the album was structured,
like a comic and all that. I had a cassette. You open it like a comic.
The skits, it had comedy humor on there, like, and Snoop knows how to make bangers. He knows how to make
a hit song.
A hit song. Like it's not just spitting. He can spit with the best of them, but he knows how to make a hit. Yeah, so that was one of the ones where it was like, bro, what's this? Like, and the cartoon, the comic, you take it out. Because I think we had the CD and the vinyl, and then you had the comic in the vinyl, and I couldn't stop looking at that. The artwork.
Same.
Just
when I did the cassette, I kept reading it.
Yeah, because it reminded me of like the books that we used to read in primary school. Some of the artwork, you know, that the way the dogs were animated and stuff. Like it was kind of like Rude Dog and them type of things. Do you know what I'm saying? Well, yeah, that's a. You got any more?
I'll put down Dr. Dre, man, the deal with Beats, man.
The Apple thing.
Yeah, that was the first of his kind.
First hip-hop billionaire.
And he's the first hip-hop billionaire, so I think that's quite a seminal point in hip-hop.
Do you know what's funny about that? It was the whole Tyrese thing. That's when I realized, that's when I first realized Tyrese was a bit of a gas bag. Yeah. Because before that, I always thought, Tyrese seems like a stand-up guy. He's always like dropping little gems of wisdom. But that's when I realized people in the music industry look at Tyrese like he's a bit of a clown, like, because they were like, why was Tyrese baiting up that moment? It wasn't for him to bait up, and it nearly made the moment fell through. Do you know that it nearly scuppered the deal when he came out? And
when he
came out, because the deal was all still being processed. When he came out and was like, first whatever, like he was like, first rap billionaire motherfucker, like that nearly killed the deal because it wasn't supposed to be public yet.
Whoa,
it's mad. I think they talk about it in the Defiant ones. I'm sure they talk about it in the Defiant ones.
Though. He was just excited a bit.
Yeah. We'll talk about what some of the ones that the listeners put up as well. So one of them was someone said Suge Knight at the
I had that as one of mine as well because I brainstormed quite a few.
Thing with Puffy.
Yeah, come and join Death Row. You don't want your executive producer,
you don't want your producer dancing
in the video. Come to Death Row.
Yeah. That was a moment. And staying on that same Source Awards, that year, Outkast.
Man. That nobody got love for the South. I put that there as well. That's there when they came up because I feel that Source Award was heated that year because hip hop was in a place where there was a change of guard going on with who was dominating the sound. And I think New York were very butthurt that the South had become prominent and dominant and the West Coast had become prominent. I hear artists like Nas now in interviews, you know, with hindsight now, they can talk about the battles and the shifts that they went through in hip-hop. And Nas is very honest when he talks about it, and he says, the West just came and smashed us. We were literally blown away looking at what they were doing and just almost hating on it. We liked it, we were hating it. Because we weren't making that kind of noise. We and certain other mans had to come and start clawing it back.
But that's the mad thing because, like, it's true. You say with hindsight, because I saw Questlove speak on it as well, and he was kind of like, he was like, had an arrogance to that when he saw, you know, like Outkast up there. He was like, what the hell is this? Like, you know what I mean? So, but then obviously it got him to check out the South artists. And then we already know what that became after that. Do you know what I mean? That became a mad thing after that.
Outkast, man. That's a moment. So that's a moment. That whole Source Awards.
That whole year, seems like it was like a seminal moment.
It was like a change in, like a change of the guard, like a shift.
Yep. Someone said when Nas rapped backwards on Rewind.
That was great, man.
Yeah.
But you know what? Someone disputed that when it came out and said that someone had done something similar to it.
Who had?
At the point. I don't know who came out of it. One of the Nas haters. But I've been listening to hip-hop a long time and I ain't heard no one do that like Nas, man. Games copied it since and done something,
Joyner
backwards but thing. I think Nas was the first. But
that was a story, because that was a thing. Remember, like, with the Joyner thing, I like it with the way it's done, but it's all metaphors and then the metaphors are back to front. So it's not, it hasn't got, like, technically it sounds madder, but in terms of, like, the storytelling,
that's... Nas done the story, man.
That was the illest. That was the illest. Like, the way he dropped it was too ill. What else we got? What else we got? I'll do another one of my ones. So do you know what? I think is a seminal moment that will be remembered. It's a more recent one. The Locks versus Dipset, and just verses in general. When the whole verses thing sprung up during lockdown,
that was a thing, man.
I feel like that is in future, like that will be a part of hip hop that will be remembered forever.
Of course,
it was something that it birthed the whole. Like it brought back the whole like battle kind of
battle element,
but not those a cappella battles. No shots on the battle leagues and all of that. But
never.
It brought back like sound system culture. Do you know what I'm saying? In hip hop,
my rhythm, your rhythm, you got a better track.
Yeah. Do you know what I'm saying? It brought it, and that's taking hip hop back to its roots.
Of course.
Do you know what I mean? Sound system culture. So and that the whole battle, because that was the first if correct me if I'm wrong, but as the first real battle in the versus battle that was like outside, because all of them were in like
they're all in studios, or they were doing like streaming,
whatever. The first one I saw, well, not the first one. Ones I remember, obviously, it was when they were together. We had like DMX and Snoop, and then you
in
had
the studio, just chilling.
Had the Beanie Man and
they was in the studio too.
Yeah, they were in the studio, but then that was the first one that was in an arena, and everyone was outside, and it was just mad. It felt like a boxing match,
like a wrestling or a boxing match.
Pay-per-view and all that.
That's what I felt like, the way they come in and introduce, man, and they had the entourages on each corner, and it's like a round kind of stage, so everyone could go around it. That was like, they really suited it to like some fighting shit. Jadakiss said something like that. It's like Madison said. I think it was in Madison Square Garden, bro.
It was.
And he said this is like a great night for hip hop. Yeah, man, it was deep.
It was that was a moment. That was a moment. And I watched that back like many times, and I feel like now, even just thinking about it, makes me want to go back and watch it.
Yeah, watch it. Yeah, man.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man, it's funny.
All right, so. Now, another one we had on the playlist. Now, our playlist is stacked today with like loads of classics and battles and all sorts. One of them was Nas versus Jigga.
Yes, I had that. That's on my list there. The second. I feel that as far as battles go, I don't really count Big and Tupac as a battle. That was also on my list, the deaths of those two. Because those are, I think, are the like one or two most like pivotal deaths in hip hop, like through that 80s, 90s into thousands era. Pac and Big are like those icons now of our era. But Jay-Z and Nas were like those, lyrically, you liked one or the other, you didn't really check for them, or you was a big fan. And I was a fan of both, so like when they started going against each other, I was kind of in conflict, but I liked it. I liked it. It brought back that, that essence there.
Do you know
MC Shan, KRS-One, whatever. It was that kind of shit.
Do you know the thing is, because obviously we're talking about Nas versus Jiggy, but like you've gone into the Tupac thing. But I think with the Tupac and Biggie thing, like
it got distorted,
I remember
man.
I remember when Hit 'Em Up came out, and even then I remember thinking, ooh,
it's distorted. It's a bit too personal, man.
Bit
Talk
too
about
much.
man's wife and thing. It's gonna go left.
And
it
felt it already. Like I remember when that video dropped, and I was like, ooh.
Yeah, we weren't looking like it's about. We're looking at it like, man, that hate each other, bro.
It was a different level of hatred. Like it was mad. It was mad. But yeah, going back to the Nas and Jigga thing, that was, even though they took personal shots at each other, it always felt a bit more
like
professional.
Like a battle.
Yeah, it felt like putting jabs on the mic and just mic stuff. Do you know what I mean? Like, but
you didn't feel like no one was gonna get hurt in that battle.
No, although it could have happened, but like it didn't. So good. So we got to enjoy those two legends into their 40s and 50s and still now. So, but with that battle, I think like it was also really important because it was a battle that where, depending on what side of the fence you are, which artist you like, you get a totally different take. And I know that's the same with a lot of battles, but I feel like more so with that battle, like that.
It's like that was like a unanimous split decision. That battle,
because it depends
in hip hop. Because who you ask
between our circles where we were growing up, we were all like, Nas won that.
Yeah, Nas.
Do you know what I'm saying? But then you go to other people and they would not even they can't even comprehend that you would even say that. Do you know what I'm saying? And I notice a lot in America. The general consensus is that Jigga took that easy.
Jigga won that. No.
Do you know what I'm saying? I don't see
agree.
that. I don't see that. But I can see where when you listen to all the tunes, you're like, they're all dope. Like, they're all the tunes in that battle are dope. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, that was a good one. That was a good one. Wu-Tang Forever dropping. Now, the thing is, the reason why I put that one and not 36 is because obviously when 36 Chambers came out, I was around. But I went back and appreciated it. I think I did appreciate certain singles when they came out. Chess boxing, like certain singles, Cream. I appreciated them like in isolation. But in terms of as an album, I think I digested Forever first.
Forever was first for me as well.
Yeah, and then we went back to 36 and it's like, ooh, now a lot of heads in the generation just above us, they all listen to that and be like, that's sacrilegious. You know what I'm saying? Like, because they will be like, 36 Chambers
is the one.
That's the one. Do you know what I mean? Because that's known as, 36 is known as, the seminal Wu-Tang album. Do you know what I mean? But to us, our generation, and I saw Akala talk about something like that, and it's a similar thing what he said in his interview when he talked about it, and he was like, to a certain generation, like Wu-Tang Forever was like a Bible.
Yeah,
Do you know what I'm
forever,
saying?
yeah.
But it's like to my brother's generation, 36 was like that was the Wu-Tang explosion. Do you know what I'm saying? So and they don't even see 30 Forever in the same way.
It's still good, yeah, but it's
yeah. Now looking back on it, I kind of understand where they're coming from.
That.
Now, like Forever is more. There's more to it. There's more to digest. But I think as a like cult classic, 36 Chambers does have more like hard hitting bangers, and it's got that the mysticism is more. It's more kind of.
There's an aura to that album. Whereas in Forever, you can tell that RZA was experimenting with his sound. They were throwing this and that together. Certain MCs were in different sessions, but it all cohesively fits together when you listen to the album. Like I saw quite like a scolding review of Wu-Tang Forever 20 odd years later.
What are they saying?
Yeah, they reviewed it and they tried to dissect it, basically picking it apart, like the sequence of both discs, the songs and that. And he said they basically said RZA was basically trying to blag it with the album because there's no real type structure to it on any disc. So there's a clear intro on both, but there's no kind of structure to either disc, and it's just all the man's going in. It just said on tracks.
But it works though.
But it works.
It works. And there's some crazy like classic tracks on there, like classic. And I feel like you got to see more of you got to see more of the each member and what they're about.
I think they expanded, man. Their styles, they had more beats to work on, man.
That's what I'm saying.
The sound bed was different, man.
100%.
I think that's a seminal album in hip hop, man. So
what else you got? What else you got?
What else have I got? I think I went through a whole heap of them. Yeah, I had the Brat. She was like the first female MC to go platinum. You know what? That was on my thoughts because I was watching females in hip hop.
Yes.
Yeah, the BBC were doing their 50.
They got a Netflix one as well.
Yeah, the Netflix. Yeah. And I was watching about the women in hip hop, and you actually writes the Netflix one.
Is it the Netflix
I was watching a BBC flipping playlist that had all this 80s shit. That's why that's going through my mind now, and I'm thinking 50 years. But it was Netflix, and the ladies in hip hop. And when I saw the Brat's part, and she went into a bit more history about how she was living and what's going on in her life when she went platinum, and it's quite deep because she got locked up after that and had to do a bird for some madness. And she said, she wasn't ready for that, and it was at a time where, but that I see that as a moment because I think like women in hip hop have always been like, they were talking about it's always one girl in the clique, and she's the first lady of, and I was just like, I was thinking about that through all the cliques. They were showing Rough Riders, they showed Terror Squad, they showed
they always had
all the big cliques, and there was one girl, and I was like, so it's been a thing. And Queen Latifah, she was kind of on some feminist vibes on this interview, and she was just going like, women, this and that. It shouldn't be just one representation. You look for one, and this and and I was just like, it's kind of true still, man.
I saw the first part of
Raw Diggers talking a few.
The Netflix thing you're talking about. So I saw the first little bit.
3 of them, I think.
I think I saw the first. It was Roxanne Shante talking
about. I watched her part when Chaos One said, "Was she good for having dick in her mouth?" She said when she heard that bar, she was like, it didn't phase her because her mum raised her hard anyway. Man, them are gonna be hungry and talk shit.
I just saw when she talked about she asked her mum for dough to go and be in the battle.
And she goes, "Can I cuss?
Can I cuss?" She goes, "Just bring back that money.
Bring back the money.
You can say whatever you want."
I was laughing at that part.
I
so the mum let her battle and cuss as long as she bring back that dough.
Yeah, that's dope. That is dope. All right, you got any more before we move on?
No, man, those are some quite big ones, man. From our era, anyway.
Older
heads don't be like looking sideways at your devices right now, thinking, but what about this or that?
Before we move on, though, what would you say, like, for this generation, or for like
their moments?
What would be a moment that you would say within the last 10 years, 5 to 10 years?
For the newer generation,
I said the verses with
Nipsey Hussle. Nipsey Hussle's passing, the emergence of Kendrick Lamar.
Right. You said about the Kendrick thing.
The explosion of Drake in general, just as what he is as an entity.
Do you know what? I'll go on those last
two. Those are
also, like, obviously, I love Nipsey, and what Nipsey did for Compton shouldn't be understated.
Yeah, never.
Yeah, for what he did for Compton shouldn't be understated, and it's a shame that they took him out in his own hood, where he was like trying to build up that hood, and he stayed there to build.
Yeah, he really did.
He needs to get his flowers forever.
Yeah,
Kendrick with that All Right, that became part of like the protest movement at the time when it came out. And that was a mad thing to see, like people protesting in the street singing that song, because it became, for that generation, it became like their public enemy tune. Do you know what I mean? And Drake, like we've talked about this before on in the previous guys of the
Drake's
show.
Marmite in hip hop still is straight.
But the thing is with Drake, it's like there's never been a rapper who's been like Michael Jackson levels in terms of like sales consistently. Even Jigga is not.
He hasn't reached them heights. He did it.
And whatever his formula is, he's managed to have a formula that keeps him consistently whatever he drops. And now when you listen, when you see that he's dropping a project, it's almost like he's just like he's just doing it. It's just like, oh yeah, I'm dropping it.
Yeah, man.
Minimal.
There's gonna be some appeal on something that's on there that's just gonna like blow like worldwide.
Yeah. Because this is the thing, right? He usually, if you notice, like recently, maybe like not so much like 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago, but recently there's no fanfare around this. He just drops it one day before, and then it's like, oh, Drake's got a new album. When? Tomorrow.
Yeah.
And it's true. There's usually like, he always drops like one boom bap tune where he's like spitting with no hook for like 6 minutes.
So nice
then
for
he's
the
got,
ladies.
Then he's got like all his galley tunes, which kind of like underpins the album. Yeah. And then he will have like, something left field like a house tune or something.
Or some bashment mans or some drill.
And he will always, he hand cherry picks all the mans around the world that he's trying to like, well, people will say culture vulture off, but he always like dips into like different cuisines.
Into the right market, the right genre, man. Yeah.
So, you know, you have to give him his dues because whatever he's doing it.
He does it in a way and it's a formula.
Future generations of hip hop will look
learn
at him.
That. They will.
And in terms of like how to make a rap star. Do you know what I mean?
Man, they will. They will look on that and they will take elements out there and they will make the future rap guys that come out.
Yeah. And do you know what? Like he gives his flowers to the culture as well.
Yeah, I know
he won't shy away from a battle, even though man will say, like this person will body you. He will be the first one. He will be the first one to lick the shot.
Yeah,
he will be the first one to lick the shot. Yeah. He will like with the UK. He's always giving the UK flowers. He's brought artists true on stage of him and whatever. People say he's culture vulturing, but he's shining more light on scenes like ours. And shit like that. So, you know, we have to give him his
I think for the new era and just recent years, like you said, 10, 15s and that. Yeah. It's just that's the space we've come into with that. And even us having the scene over here, I think it's a moment because that's an expansion of hip hop. That's the scene we had over here, which is obviously heavily influenced from the US from 80s.
Well, that's the thing. We can't
London Posse days to now to have a scene.
We can't move on from this topic, I don't think, without mentioning not only the UK hip hop scene, because we haven't really touched on that much, but also being on this station, the grime scene and what that's become, and that's kind of that's an arm of hip hop that's branched off from hip hop and jungle and other stuff. So really and truly, that's something as well to be marveled at because the whole thing became a worldwide phenomenon when you really check
it's a thing now, properly.
You know, so that's another thing. And there's UK artists that's on that playlist as well. But you know, if we don't get to play that before the end of the show, we'll fling it on the playlist. So we put it out with the show. So you know, what I mean, we're gonna give our people our flowers as well. What was the other thing I was gonna say about that? About the kids now. The drill scene. So obviously, it's interesting. Like a lot of people, you know, we've had, you know, negative and positive things to say about drill before, but I think like drill has gone through a kind of process that a lot of other forms of hip hop have. Yeah. You know, like you know, the original forms of hip hop have had their gangster rap era. Then grime had its more like
that dark
Aggie era where it was all about shanking everybody.
Man,
until then artists coming into more like subject-based music and making songs. And then even drills that's happening now. When you think about all of the Aggie groups and the guys that are all talking about chefing and then you hear, I don't know, whether you love him or hate him, you hear people like Central C and people like that dropping their tunes and you listen to their tune and it's not different. It's not the same. It's not chefing and queffing.
They're changing the content, putting on the same sound that they know people are bouncing to and starting to make songs. So as much as I don't really listen to Central C, my daughter loves his music. But I see what he's now going to start a wave of other kids coming out that like drill, but obviously can't talk about their life. They might not live that. They might just like the sound.
Exactly.
And now they can talk about gal and partying and things they like.
That's the thing. With drill, with any form of music that's like that, where it's so heavily one way, and then someone sees that you can do it another way. When they see, like, you don't even have to like you said, you don't have to like Central C. You don't have to like his music. You have to like his songs or his content. You can
see what he's doing.
If you can listen to that. If I was a young guy and I was thinking, I want to rap, but I don't want to chat that madness. But I've seen now that you can make a career out of making tunes with drill beats, but you can talk about more
girls
things
or partying
or whatever.
Yeah, or just
I might want to just talk about. Might want to have more content. I might not just want to talk about parties and whatever.
I want to talk about some cosmic shit or spiritual.
I know that now it's possible
you can do it.
to do that.
Yeah.
You know, so, you know, listen, let's see what happens with that. So that's another thing. Man.
It's evolving. It
is. All right, so before we wrap up, so let's talk about some stuff that's been in the news.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. All right, cool. So, I don't know. Let's move on. Let's talk about this one first. So, Tory Lanez. Tory Lanez. We know that Tory Lanez got 10 years in prison for shooting Megan Thee Stallion.
Quite a bird.
It's quite a bird. Nah, he's been found guilty. I found it interesting. I found it interesting that like a lot of people were riding for Tory when you know, even to the point where now he's got convicted, they're still riding for him.
Yeah.
And it's mad because, you know, like what I've found is that people will make their will make their judgments based on if they like the artist or whatever they kind of stand for. And I feel like, I'll give you an example. With Lizzo had the thing the other day where she got accused of sexual harassment. Yeah?
I see that.
And then like I've heard people like bunning her out. Like, see, I knew that this girl, da. And then like on the same token, with the Tory thing, it's been like, no, he didn't do it. Or it's not fair or whatever. No one saw evidence. But it's like now it's like what I've noticed is the court of public opinion has like overtaken. You know, it's overtaken that the justice system. Do you know what I'm saying? But it depends.
The influence.
It depends on what side of the fence you sit on. So, for instance, if Lizzo, for instance, got convicted of sexual assault, the people who didn't like her in the first place will say, see, that shows you that she done it. Tory Lanez got convicted of actually, you know, shooting Megan, and people are like, oh no, he didn't do it. No one saw the evidence. So it's all really, people don't care about what the verdict is. Depending on what side of the fence you sit on, you'll dismiss that.
That's how you're gonna feel.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know if you've been seeing that whole situation.
I've seen bits and bits on it, and it's like
the reaction to it.
Yeah, I like you said, I think they were running for him more when it just happened. When it was just like hearsay, did it happen? We think it did, and we're not sure. They're arguing in the car, this or that. When it was that, I think there's a lot more support for him, but I think now it's that like automatic cancel culture shit, and then people just trying to just like lock man off. You don't know the internals of that, man. You know, there's a lot of people locked up in the States unjust, man. Their system's a bit mad, man.
That's true.
Mad.
That's true. I just think like, I don't know. They're the only people that know that
they know what happened.
Whether that happened. I just feel like people were too quick to dismiss.
Exactly that.
People were too quick to dismiss her word, and then, you know, the other way around as well. Some people were quick to dismiss his word. But the thing is, when he started to apologize and say certain things, and the certain things that came out, it just made it look dodgy to me. Like, it just made it look dodgy. He's been convicted now.
And the jury were probably looking on that because they said the jury didn't take long to come to that decision, man. All parties are just like, all jurors are just like, it was one of them verdicts. It's just like, boom. Yeah, we all agree. So whatever they were being presented with evidence, you know, cross-examination, whatever, done him out, man. And she weren't trying to show him no love, and they was a couple before. That's also weird to me. That was your girl, man. It's just like,
whether he shot at the floor or he shot at her foot, you shouldn't have been pulling out
stupid
guns in the first place. It's mad. All right, another funny story I saw. So Benny the Butcher. He's proclaimed that he's going to be voting for Donald Trump.
I was reading that laughing. I can't lie, I was reading that, Benny.
Prompted a bit of a backlash from his devoted fan base. The Buffalo native took to Twitter to make his voting preference to be known, which didn't exactly please his fans. Do you think a rapper's political stance should like have an effect on his career?
Nah. Hell no, man. Hell no. It depends what the content of their bars is, and if you listen to Benny the Butcher's content, it's that shit, man. Hustling.
That's the thing.
He doesn't shy away from that. You know that he he's a villain, you know, doing certain things that's come right. He's legitimate now. He doesn't hide it. His bars is based around that shit. Right, about making like better out of like those situations and having to live like that. So I guess that him having a political opinion is too much to some people now. Because we just want you to be like super much and be talking about drug shit all the time and this and that. Well, you can't have a political opinion. I don't know.
I think it depends. I think it depends on what the politics are.
Kanye got scolded when he came out with
and this is something
wearing America great hat and
this is something we need to look at as well because I feel like it's interesting. Like the whole ethos around hip hop is very kind of
it's anti-government, it's anti-establishment.
It's anti-establishment.
Yeah, so that's why they shunned that.
And the thing is with Trump, his whole thing was like it was kind of anti-establishment.
It was, man. It was
kind of anti-establishment.
Shit got him breached while he was there. All kind of things
because he was trying to be like disruptive.
Happened.
He was trying to be a disruptor.
Exactly.
Now I don't rate his politics at all, but I can see why some
people
rappers get
relate to it
in that, especially if they're like, you know, guys
Trump
who have
Towers,
gone from
him being a billionaire, coming in from an immigrant family, you know, making his empire. You know what I mean? Trump Towers, this, that.
But then some of the more nefarious things that Trump has done would have, like, even if I'd have had any kind of like sympathies or empathy towards his way of thinking, would stop me from like siding with those politics because it's like there's too much. There's too much of it. But yeah, it's interesting though. Like it's interesting to see like how the fans have reacted. Do you know what I mean?
He may have got a better reaction if he came out saying like, "Yo, I want to get into this politics thing. You know, I see certain things that's not right in Buffalo, my home city, my hometown. Maybe in the future, you know, like I'll run for a seat or something in what they call the Congress, or we call it Parliament, they call it Congress in it. I run for something that's local to my area constituency, whatever." Like something like that. Like Scarface become the governor of Houston. It wasn't really even talked about in hip hop.
No.
And the governor of Houston. Shine's like the governor of Belize.
In Belize,
Vice president behind his dad of Belize.
He's definitely he's
in the top.
Leader of the opposition actually.
He is, man. He moved up. He was something first because of his dad. And that's why he got diplomatic immunity. After he done 10 years, they sent him back. And he got immunity after that. Yeah, man. So people don't really talk.
But even when you talk about like Ice Cube, like recently, he's been popping up everywhere.
I saw something about he's basketball, the Big Three. He's doing a three-a-side basketball league now, and it's got really massive in America, and the NBA trying to shut him down.
But he's been popping up everywhere.
The NBA trying to shut him down. You know?
But he's been popping up everywhere with these little political opinions. I'm like, what? Like,
he's going back to his old self.
No, but it's more like right-leaning. A lot of the stuff that he's talking is more right-leaning. It's not. You know what I mean? It's a bit weird, bro. I'm like, where's Ice Cube guy? It's just popping up everywhere. The other day he was talking to Tucker Carlson.
I'm talking about the Big Three and
he's been doing that.
Then I saw the what's his name? Pierce. I saw the Morgan interview.
Yeah. It was not too long after that.
He's getting out there doing a lot of like TV.
I don't know what his angle is. I don't know if he's trying
that basketball team coming to UK and touring Europe, man. It's Bandulu, man. It's for promo. It's for promo.
It must be. All right. So I think one more. I got one more before we wrap up. I think I'm gonna make it a sporty one. What do you think about this Saudi Pro League thing?
It's mad. Funny enough, it's in the front of my mind, man, because you know we're talking. I watch Talk Sport, man. You know, good opinions on football, man. Proper football, man, innit? As you are. Yeah. So I was looking at it and I thought, right, like how can this sustain? And then when I was listening to certain conversations recent days on it, and it's just like what they're doing is they're not offering like outrageous like transfer fees, but they're paying them bare money. So whereas you might have a £100 million player.
That, but Neymar went for 100 today.
Yeah, but they have to because that's endorsement rights and everything else coming because you got a name like that. The exception of Neymar and the Messis and anyone else going there because all kind of just like so guys are going there too for like 8 million, for 12 million. But you know they get 300 grand a week. That was the carrot I think in front of the donkey.
Yeah, no,
your sign-on fee will be massive.
400k,
but in a year we'll give you 50 mil.
My whole thing, you know what? I don't have a problem with it at all.
Me neither,
I think
the levels have to go up. It don't matter about the money, it's the levels.
The funny thing to me is like, MLS been doing this for years.
For years.
Like, and nobody had a problem. Messi went over there and he's earning like $500 million in a year or something.
No one says nothing about the MLS no more because they're established.
Yeah, but it's also because it's Saudi Arabia. Yeah. Now, obviously, like
because it's oil money, man.
The society is a bit messed up over there. Let's not. It is sports washing. Let's not get it. Let's have it right. It is sports washing. However, America they don't have their hands clean.
They can't really say nothing.
Bare fuckery. Like there's coups going on in the world right now.
Exactly.
And like, do you know what I'm saying? So really and truly, I think that we shouldn't begrudge Saudi having their place in the sun. I watched a couple games. I see Ronaldo's team with Mane. Like the crowd was going crazy, bruv. Like the game was good. Like the game was good. Like when I watched that Inter Miami, I see Messi. There's no one tackling him, bruv. It's just like running by himself. Like man's outpacing these mans. I'm like, what's going on? Man's playing with you know, like when you play against your little brother or something, and you plug out the pad, bruv.
Yeah, they think they're playing
FIFA. That's what it come like. It was a bit weird, bruv. It like I don't know. I feel like let them have their thing. As long as, you know, you're taking our deadwood off. They took Henderson and Fabinho off us. They had no legs left. They gave us 52 million. Do you know what I'm saying? So I'm happy. Let's go.
No, none of our players ain't gone there, so I can't even. But yeah.
So yeah. But yeah, listen, I think that in the next 5 to 10 years, if it's, I mean, it looks unsustainable right now.
Yeah.
But if they continue with the way that they're going, they'll have to build up their youth system.
Yeah.
But if they continue the way that they're going, I feel like it will be a thing.
Yeah, people want to go there.
It will be a thing because, like, I don't know what they've signed 20 players in the last 2 months, and they're just gonna keep doing that.
Yeah, they will keep doing.
And sooner or later, it will be younger players as well. Right now, it's just oldies. Yeah, but like sooner or later, you'll get like a 26-year-old.
Yeah, that's just going out there.
Will go over there for the dough, and then what? Do you know what I'm saying? What are you gonna do when teams like Man United start losing players in the prime of their careers? It's not going away. It's not going away unless Saudi Arabia, like somehow the regime falls apart and they go broke or the price of oil goes down.
No, they said they're building more new stadiums and facilities out there because of the league's popularity, and it's gonna grow.
And they're fat, and the fan base is crazy. Yeah. Like they are, like I'm saying, like I watch them. I watched the games the other day, and it's like the fan base. That's the thing that they've got over the Americans. The fan base. They're fanatical. The Americans will watch it, and you know, they
got multiple sports in it. So
but like the energy around the stadium. When I watched it was like a charity show type match where it was like, you know, curtain raiser, the winners of the league and the winners of the cup, and they were going like head to head, and the way the fans were going on, I was crazy. Like, raw, you thought it was World Cup final, bruv. Right. So. You know what I mean? Let's see what happens.
Like it, man. The money's gonna go into that, man.
Yeah,
it's gonna grow.
Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. But listen. I think we're gonna wrap it up there. Shouts out to all the new guards that are not here at home and far away. Big up all the guards. Big up our guests that didn't turn up. And no shots, but shots. But yeah, we'll continue. We'll have a new Guardz radio show next month for September. September already, bro. Yeah, nah, I'm not happy.
We got 8 in already.
Yeah, I mean, like as we're looking at this, the sun hasn't been shining for like the whole last month. You know what I mean? True. So yeah. Anyway, less of that. We'll move into the next new Guardz radio in the next month. All that's left to say is Guardz up.
All
right.